Hello everyone, welcome back to Clementine Creative. I'm Clementine and I'm back with another character design video. Basically what we're doing in this video is we're continuing last video's designs. Last video we did a different design in this one. In this video we have a weaponized character, so this one does have a cannon, as you will be able to see, I guess. But before we go into the details, let's not forget about the introduction. So I am gonna be drinking juice, so there's gonna be that. I know, quite unprofessional, but you can't talk on a sore throat. So that's that. It's pretty hot, but a really nice weather right now, so you know, perfect for filming. Right after this I'm gonna go do the third line art, so I have 4 left. There's quite a lot of work still needs to be done, but hopefully everything will be done by tomorrow. So now let's go into you know what's going on there on the video. So as you can see, this character does have a bit of a weird shape. She has this, I guess, cone type of thing on her shoulder, which is just a bunch of wine kind of rolled up together that later transforms upon player, you know, if a player presses a certain button. It has different types of, I guess, transformations or different types of uses, but the main one is for it to transform into a cannon. So the entire arm transforms into a cannon that fires bones coated in fire. So that's the main idea here, but of course that can be used for many things. One of the things that it can be used for is basically a whip, so she can whip someone / grab him and pull him together, not pull him together, pull the enemy towards her. And then of course we can use that as maybe a killing move where she pulls the enemy towards her and the other arms transform into a cannon and you shoot him in the head or whatever. So that's one of the things I thought about when I was doing the design. So this was the main idea, of course, the cone transforming into a cannon. I didn't want the arm to just be a cannon because it would be very impractical, because I always think of what about when these characters don't fight, you know? How would she eat? How would she scratch herself? It's important, how would she scratch herself? But no, you know, it's very useful if she has arms, so she can wear, she can transform her, I guess, arm into a cannon upon wish, and that solves basically the problem of her not having the cannon constantly on. One problem that I had with this character and also the previous one, and I changed that on the previous one, you'll actually see in the recording, is that I don't like the fact that these characters are 3/4 naked. They're really naked. Like, this character is really, a lot of it just doesn't have any clothes on, and I think right about now, I'm not sure, but I think now, yeah, now it's when I'm gonna start to, okay, I guess not now. Now I'm basically gonna design the cannon, so you can see while I design the cannon, I'm gonna talk about the problem. So this character is, you know, is naked and overall body is not covered. And while I do think it's sexy when, you know, characters are like half naked, this character in particular was too naked for my taste. It just was ridiculous, and I didn't like it, and I actually stumbled upon this problem while I was actually thumbnailing. I didn't know what kind of clothes to put on, and as we can see, there's something missing, right? To me, there's something missing, and what's missing is the, you know, the connection on the hips. So the connection of the front being covered with the back, but usually you have something like panties which are connected on the sides, and right now the sides are exposed, which creates an illusion like this character is like really naked, and I didn't like that. I didn't like it. It was very immature, and while I do like sexy chicks, you know, sexy chicks in games, I don't like too naked, you know, it's just ridiculous and doesn't really make any sense. So I decided to give her a pair of panties, and I did that on a previous character as well. You'll actually be able to see that in the recording. But anyways, I did that because I didn't want this to be so immature, because believe it or not, you can actually offend people doing this. And of course, especially now that Overwatch came out, there was a lot of speculation of about, you know, Tracer. If you know Overwatch, there's this character Tracer, and apparently she's too over sexualized, and you know, there was a lot of trouble. And first of all, I think that's a bunch of BS, because if it's a video game, it's fantasy, it's not supposed to be realistic. That's the whole point of video games, is you do something that you can't do in real life, right? And I think that if you go as far as into, you literally breach into this sanctuary where people can be whatever they want, and they say, hey, that's not cool because that's not how it is in real life, I think that there's something wrong with you. I mean, if women complain that, you know, and I'm not just saying it's just women, but you know, this theme of over-sexualization is usually mostly on women, because a lot of designers, they're actually male, you know, so we create whatever we want to see, and we create whatever audience wants to see, and we're doing fan service. Having a chick with half-naked body, that's fan service, and people buy that kind of stuff. But men could just as well do that, right? Technically, because let's say God of War, Kratos, you know, he's got a super sexy body, and you know, I mean, it is achievable, but through work, right? There are a couple of differences where as to okay, we do stylize a woman's proportions to fit our audience, whilst to male we don't do as much, we just emphasize it. So that is a difference, and I totally understand it, and it's totally fine. But where I was going with this is that I added that because you can actually offend people, and I don't want to offend anyone. So that's why I covered her up, and I personally didn't like it. I didn't like the design where she was like half naked. It just doesn't make any sense. I mean, if I had to, I could always defend it. While she is I guess a monster, she lives in the woods. She doesn't know clothes, which it would make sense, right? But generally, I try to stay away from that because, again, don't want to insult anyone. I'm just trying to design here, so that's why I decided. And I think it actually looks really nice, personally. A girl with panties is sexier than a girl without any, so that's just kind of how I see it. So that's why I decided to give her a pair of panties. So the back view is so much different than the front view. I was really surprised. I mean, I like it, but it's quite interesting to see how much different it actually is. It's a lot more buff, and there's a lot more mass going on at the top than it is in the front view. From the front, it doesn't even look like that big, but when you look at this character from the back, it's quite enormous. So now I'm just drawing in the legs, and later what I'm going to do is draw the back view for the cannon. So just going to drop a couple of those things in. But this character, I like doing it, and I'm definitely definitely satisfied with the design. The cannon, I think, is pretty interesting. So yeah, you know, basically now I'm doing the back view. Hopefully you're seeing this footage as I am. And yeah, so basically just slowly getting to the completed product. Have trouble speaking here. But yeah, now I'm just trying to present this in a nice manner. Presenting a design is just as important as the design itself, so keep that in mind. Just trying to basically follow the same presentation choices I did in the previous one. Now putting in the grayscale. I like to call it grayscale. Well, you know what I mean. It's the gray parts. Just coloring the character in. Subtracting it from the page. And this is a pretty time-consuming process, and I think that this actually requires sometimes more patience than the actual line art, because it's boring. I honestly don't like coloring in with the gray color. It just, That part is so time consuming and annoying, but you gotta do it. Alright, so that's it. This is how it turned out. The next picture, you will also see the cannons being attached to this girl. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in the next one real soon. Alright, bye. You know, having big shoulders does allow her to wield this hammer. I didn't want to overdo it with her arms. However, there is a design where I totally did that. This